Hi, Gil from Testing Gil here, and today I want to talk about test planning, and planning in general. I have a question for you. Have you ever finished testing? I've always ran out of time when I was testing. I never had this experience of finished testing. We always run out of time. So it makes sense that we want to make the best out of the time that we got. This is where planning comes in. Now, for planning, like everything else, everybody has their own way of doing it that works for them or doesn't. And we always want to improve and look out for better ways to do that. By the way, check out my video on searching for the elusive best practices. Planning is not simple. You have to bring a lot into this process. And organizations sometimes build very heavy processes into this thing. They want to make planning correctly. But what does planning correctly mean? How do we know if planning is successful? Well, one way to look at it is compare the execution to the planning and see that everything that we planned was actually executed. The problem with that is that we actually need execution. We'll only know if the plan was good after we finish the execution, which would be easy to do if there weren't any changes. But there are always changes, right? We learn stuff on the way that we didn't know. Or we find out stuff we assumed will work in one way, works in another way. And then if we find out something important on the way, we do something about it, even if it wasn't in the original plan, because that makes sense, right? Let's say we have a deadline. We need to finish testing all the components of the software by the deadline. We end up testing not all of them by the end, but we still release on time. Is this a failure of the plan? And does it really matter at this point? You say you want to improve the planning for next time. And I respect that. But I was part of many planning processes, and whatever I did to improve, the plan never survived meeting reality. And that's just a fact of life. So the next conclusion is that we don't need a full plan. Since everything changes while we're executing the plan, we don't want to waste our time on the big plan going into details. We'd rather have something that is lightweight, and if it changes in the process, and it will change in the process, it's not a big waste. What we really need is a good starting point. And a good starting point includes, first, the content. The main features, the main workflows, what we're going to focus on in our plan. Next, the effort. How we're going to attack it. Next up, skills, what we need to know going in. And finally, setup, what we need in order to start testing. Note that all these things are needed for us to start testing. Things will change as we go. But everyone in the process, managers, developers, testers, DevOps, everyone agrees on the same things and are aware of the same issues that we're going to need to explore. Otherwise, the plan, therefore the execution, is doomed from the start. Now, this sounds like it will work for big releases. And that's true, but it also works for smaller releases like sprint planning. And yes, I know I left out estimates. Watch out for the next videos. I'm going to go into details for both top-level planning and test scenario planning. And if you really want, tell me and I'll talk about why you don't really need estimates. But for today, I want to thank you for watching. If you like this video, like, subscribe, and watch other videos on this channel. And in the comments down below, if you have any topic you want me to address as part of your planning process, tell me. But for now, bye-bye.